Stop everything you're doing right now. If you live anywhere from Texas to Maine, the next 24 hours could change everything. Two massive winter storm waves are colliding across America at this very moment, and what's about to unfold tonight is not what most people are expecting. The second wave, which is already forming over the southern plains, could be 3 times more dangerous than what you've seen so far. And here's what nobody is telling you. The worst part hasn't even started yet. Right now, over 80 million Americans are in the direct path of what meteorologists are calling a multi-hazard winter catastrophe. We're talking about thunder snow, thunder sleet, thunder ice, and a tornado threat all happening simultaneously. This isn't just a winter storm. This is a meteorological nightmare unfolding in slow motion. In the next 25 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly when this storm will hit your city, down to the hour. I'm going to reveal which areas are about to experience something they haven't seen in decades. And at the 3-minute and 20-second mark, I'm going to show you the one thing that will determine whether you lose power for days or make it through safely. But first, let me show you what's happening right now that has forecasters genuinely worried. Here's what you need to understand. There are 2 distinct waves in this system. Wave number 1 is ongoing right now across parts of the country. But wave number 2, which is intensifying over Texas and Oklahoma as I speak, is packing significantly more moisture, more instability, and more freezing precipitation than the first round. And the gap between these 2 waves is creating massive confusion. If you're sitting in Virginia, North Carolina, or Georgia right now, looking outside and thinking this storm is a bust because nothing is happening, you need to hear this. The atmosphere is still trying to saturate. What you're seeing on radar isn't reaching the ground yet, but in approximately 2 to 4 hours from right now, that's going to change dramatically. Near Waco, Texas, lightning is already flashing inside the winter storm. That's not normal. That's a sign of extreme instability. When you get thunderstorms embedded in winter precipitation, the snowfall rates, the sleet accumulation, and the ice buildup can happen at terrifying speeds. We're talking about accumulations of 2 to 3 inches per hour in some locations. Now here's that critical piece I promised you. The single biggest factor that will determine the severity of this storm in your area is this. Are you going to get sleet or freezing rain? And I'm going to be brutally honest with you, we won't know for certain until it's actually happening. But here's why this matters so much. Sleet, while dangerous and slippery, falls as frozen pellets. It accumulates on the ground. Freezing rain, on the other hand, is liquid water that freezes on contact with anything it touches. Power lines, tree branches, roads, everything. Just 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation can bring down power lines. 1/2 an inch creates widespread outages. 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch, that's catastrophic. Power grids fail. And in the brutal cold that's following this storm, we're talking about life-threatening situations. Right now, the forecast is calling for ice accumulations over 1 inch in parts of northeast Mississippi. Oxford, Mississippi could see 0.8 of an inch. Corinth could see a full inch. If those numbers verify, we're looking at power outages that could last an entire week in sub-zero temperatures. Let me give you the breakdown for over 70 major cities and locations. I want you to drop a comment right now telling me where you're watching from, and I'll personally respond with updates for your specific area as this storm evolves. Let's start in Texas, where the second wave is already underway. Amarillo, you've got several more inches of snow and sleet coming your way over the next 12 hours. The freezing rain threat is lower for you, which is good news, but you're still looking at whiteout conditions. Lubbock, same story. Additional 3 to 5 inches of snow and sleet mix. Travel will be impossible. Midland, you're looking at another 1 to 3 inches. And this is already falling as I speak. Some of these totals have already started accumulating. Now here's where it gets serious. Kerrville, in South Texas, you're forecast to receive over 1/4 inch of freezing rain. San Antonio, same thing, around 1/4 inch. Austin, a few tenths of an inch of freezing rain. Houston, most of your precipitation holds off until late tonight into tomorrow morning. It's going to come at the last second when cold air finally arrives. Northern Houston suburbs, Conroe and Livingston, you're looking at 3/10 to 4/10 of an inch of ice. That's the danger zone where widespread power outages begin. Dallas-Fort Worth, You're in a tricky spot. You had some snow this morning that might have surprised people. Another 2 to 4 inches of snow and sleet is possible, but the real story is the ice. The good news is forecasters have backed off some of the worst projections. But as you head into eastern Texas, Tyler, Longview, Marshall, things escalate quickly. The Texarkana region, another inch or two of snow and sleet, but the ice storm component is about to intensify. Texarkana could see nearly a quarter inch of ice. Shreveport, Louisiana, this is critical. You could see over half an inch of additional freezing rain. I haven't had time to read all the reports from this morning, so I need you to tell me in the comments what you've already received. But I can tell you this, it's not over. There's still more coming. Monroe, Louisiana, similar situation. Over half an inch of freezing rain forecast. Leesville down to Alexandria, 4/10 to half an inch of freezing rain on the way over the next 24 hours. Jackson, Mississippi, here's some good news. They've backed off some of the ice totals for your area. But from northeast Louisiana through the Mississippi Delta, we're still looking at a crippling ice storm scenario. I need to see reports from this area. Have you already had significant icing? Drop that in the comments because the second heavy round is approaching fast. Memphis, Tennessee, you've already picked up significant sleet and snow. Another couple inches of snow and sleet is likely. But on top of what you already have on the ground, Memphis is forecast to receive about a quarter inch of freezing rain. That's on top of the sleet base, creating a glacier effect. Oxford, Mississippi, this is one of the worst forecasts I'm seeing. 8/10 of an inch of freezing rain. Corinth, you're looking at a full inch potentially. If these numbers verify, I'm not exaggerating when I say this becomes life-threatening. With the extreme cold following this system, power outages of a week or more are possible. Little Rock, Arkansas, northwestern sections of your state are getting several more inches of snow and sleet. Central and southern Arkansas, you're transitioning to the ice. Little Rock proper and points south and east, a few tenths of an inch of freezing rain will fall on top of your snow and sleet base. Joplin, Missouri, Springfield, Columbia, St. Louis, over half a foot of additional snow is on the way. The core of this storm hasn't even reached Missouri yet. If you've seen accumulating snow already, understand that the heaviest is still ahead. Kansas City, another 2 to 4 inches coming your way. Oklahoma, I've seen confusion on social media. People saying this storm hasn't performed. Listen carefully. You have a heavier round on the way right now. This is the round that's going to jump your totals up over half a foot to potentially a foot of snow. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, this is ongoing as we speak. The second wave is the main event for you. Southern Illinois, the meat of this storm has not arrived yet. Basically, the entire southern half of Illinois is expecting over half a foot of snow or more. Carbondale, Marion, Mount Vernon, 9 to 12 inches of additional snow is forecast. Peoria, 2 to 4 inches. Chicago, with some lake enhancement, 2 to 7 inches possible. Indianapolis, 8 to 12 inches of snow is still on the way. If you're wondering what you've gotten so far, I'd estimate 90 to 95% of this storm hasn't even begun in your area yet. Greensburg, Indiana, 10 to 13 inches forecast. Ohio, the entire state is looking at 8 to 12 inches of snow. Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Dayton, Toledo, all in the same boat. Some freezing rain could sneak into southern Ohio, some sleet mixing in, but the dominant precipitation type is going to be snow. Northern and western Kentucky, Louisville, you've had a little bit already, but the bulk is still coming. Louisville, Lexington, Elizabethtown, up to Cincinnati, 6 to 15 inches of snow is forecast. But here's where Kentucky gets complicated. As you drop south to Bowling Green, London, Harlan, Pikeville, you're getting into the mixed bag territory. Whatever snow and sleet base you build, the ice storm portion is about to begin. Kentucky is really emphasizing the ice threat. We're talking about around half an inch of freezing rain anywhere in the darkest red shaded areas on the forecast maps. A few inches of snow and sleet mixed with that freezing rain creates an absolute glacier. Middle Tennessee, you are right in the heart of this winter storm. Nashville, I've seen video from your area showing a couple inches of snow and sleet already accumulated. It was sleeting heavily just hours ago south of Nashville. You've got additional accumulation coming, But the second round is the ice storm component. Columbia, Tennessee, over 6/10 of an inch of freezing rain forecast. Nashville, well over half an inch is possible to likely. The next round is coming. Now, here's a critical detail. There's going to be a sharp gradient. From Nashville, Lafayette, Columbia, and points southeast, temperatures will hang around 30, 31, 32 degrees, staying below freezing. But as you get closer to the Cumberland Plateau and northern Alabama, you might switch to rain. Some areas may have already switched. Eastern Tennessee, another inch at most of snow and sleet, probably more for the back end of the event. The Cumberland Plateau could get 3/10 of an inch of freezing rain. The Tennessee Valley will see less because the low pressure is going to inject warmer air. And if you live in the valley and you're frustrated because you always seem to miss out on winter storms, I understand. I live in Columbia, South Carolina. I call it the armpit of hell for winter weather. We sit in a bowl where we get skipped from all directions. The coast has gotten more snow than us over the last decade. When you're in a valley and low pressure approaches from the south, it shoves warm air in and the nearby mountains delay the cold air. It's frustrating, but you've still got freezing rain coming. Northern Alabama, far northwestern sections, got a dusting this morning. The question is, how long do you hang on to below freezing temperatures? Savannah, Tennessee area, Waynesboro, a devastating ice storm is approaching. Florence and Russellville, you're looking at a moderate ice storm. Georgia, if you're in northern Georgia wondering what's going on, the answer is simple. It hasn't started yet. Not at all. Gainesville, the forecast is now calling for 8/10 of an inch of freezing rain. If this happens, it's going to be a war zone. Atlanta, around 3/10 of an inch. Those are notable totals. Athens, half an inch of freezing rain. Washington, Georgia, 3 to 4/10. Northwestern Georgia, you could see half an inch to an inch of freezing rain. Some sleet could knock those totals down, but the forecast isn't banking on that for Atlanta. Now we get to the Carolinas, and this is where things get really interesting. Central South Carolina, where I live, they've dropped the freezing rain totals slightly, but I think there's a chance these go back up. Columbia is forecast for around a quarter inch of freezing rain. Could start as sleet this evening into tonight. Winnsboro, 3/10 of an inch. Newberry and Edgefield, quarter inch. Lancaster, 4/10 of an inch. That's dangerous territory. Once you exceed a quarter inch, you start having serious issues. Over half an inch brings widespread power outages. Beyond that, you're looking at power grid failures. Greenville-Spartanburg area, this is the war zone for freezing rain. The updated forecast from 30 minutes ago shows half inch to 3/4 of an inch of freezing rain. Someone in the favored upslope areas right where elevation dramatically increases from South Carolina into Georgia and North Carolina is going to get over an inch. Southwest North Carolina is going to get hammered. Hendersonville, south of Asheville, that's ice storm capital territory. Charlotte, around half an inch of freezing rain forecast. Here's my take on the Piedmont. The huge question is whether you can start off and hang on to straight sleet when the heavy precipitation moves in. If you wake up tomorrow morning and it's still sleeting in Charlotte, Greenville, Spartanburg, you can probably breathe easier about avoiding a crippling ice storm. But if you wake up tomorrow morning to steady freezing rain, meaning it's just raining but temperatures are below freezing, things are going to deteriorate rapidly. A lot of you will go to sleep tonight with not much happening. Then you're going to wake up to a completely different situation. Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, the PD region, a few tenths of an inch of freezing rain is possible. Eastern North Carolina, the farther west you go, the more you get into quarter-inch freezing rain totals. Extreme eastern areas, not a big deal, but once you get to Goldsboro, Rocky Mount, that's ice storm territory. Raleigh-Durham area, an ice storm is on the way tonight into tomorrow. A quarter to half inch of freezing rain expected, but there's a possibility of a burst of snow or sleet first. Winston-Salem, Greensboro, Burlington, Roxboro, 1 to 2 inches of snow and sleet forecast. I think you could get a burst of snow in these areas late tonight. Everywhere else, half inch of sleet is possible as a coating before freezing rain starts. If you're lucky, you might get a pretty burst of snow before the dangerous stuff arrives. Southeastern Virginia. This will be an ice storm area. Quarter to half inch of freezing rain possible in the red shaded zones. But there's opportunity for a snow burst first. Richmond, Forecasters think you're going to get 3 to 5 inches of snow and sleet really fast. It's an interesting scenario. If it starts as snow, don't assume it stays snow. The longer it does stay frozen, the better. But you will mix later in the next 24 hours. Southwestern Virginia, another ice storm zone. Anywhere in the red, over a 1/4 inch of freezing rain expected. But you're also getting a front-end burst of snow. Blacksburg and Roanoke, 5 to 6 inches of snow forecast. And I think this falls in a hurry. Is there an opportunity you stay all snow and sleet for the bulk of the event? Absolutely. But eventually, some freezing rain is inevitable. Even down to Mount Airy, mostly snow and sleet expected, but you'll eventually get some freezing rain mixed in. West Virginia, tricky state. Northern areas probably stay all snow and sleet. Southern areas near Logan, Beckley, Charleston, you're probably going to mix and maybe even change to plain rain for a period as low pressure cuts up the Appalachians and floods the atmosphere with warm air. Beckley, a few inches of snow and sleet, then 1/2 inch of freezing rain. That's danger territory. All that snow and sleet with freezing rain caking on top. The Mid-Atlantic, several inches of snow and sleet. This starts as very heavy snow right from the beginning. When you wake up tomorrow morning in Washington, D.C., Baltimore, it's going to be heavy, heavy snow, but you will eventually switch to sleet. Washington, D.C., 4 to 9 inches. Baltimore, 4 to 9 inches. Cumberland and Hagerstown, where more snow is likely, 8 to 15 inches. Fredericksburg, 4 to 8 inches. You're going to get some freezing rain, too, especially south of D.C. into Delmarva and Tidewater, Virginia, over 1/10 to 1/4 inch of freezing rain possible. Pennsylvania gets more straightforward. Mainly snow, with some sleet mixing in southeastern areas. Anywhere from 8 inches to 1.5 feet of snow possible throughout the entire state. Bottom southeast corner might see a little freezing rain. New Jersey and Delaware, you're definitely going to have mixing issues at some point. But tomorrow morning starts with very heavy snow, several inches right off the bat. Philadelphia, 5 to 8 inches. Trenton, 6 to 9 inches. Good amounts even along the Jersey shore, but you'll start to mix with sleet, maybe as much as 1/10 inch of freezing rain glazed on top. New York City region. Right now, the forecast is for about 10 inches of snow in the city. Same throughout Long Island. North into southern Connecticut and New York, over 1 foot of snow forecast. A little freezing rain possible. Rest of New York State. Buffalo, 10 to 13 inches. The entire southern tier, 10 to 15 inches, maybe closer to 2 feet depending on location. Heart of New York, somewhere in the Catskills could get 2 feet. This is going to be a whopper. It stays all snow. Southern New England. Boston, 12 to 16 inches of snow. This will be your biggest snowstorm in a couple years. But on the southern edge, south of Boston, you're going to mix with sleet. I'm almost certain of it. Vermont, New Hampshire, just a lot of snow. Northern Maine, several inches, nothing too crazy. Now let's talk about something critical. Temperatures. This is a brutally cold storm. Tomorrow morning, Sunday morning lows. You're going to have precipitation falling with temperatures in the teens and single digits. And here's something I want to mention. It seems like winter storms in Arkansas, northern Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma have been on steroids lately when it comes to cold. These aren't marginal temperature events anymore. Dallas-Fort Worth used to get winter storms around 28 to 32 degrees. Now you're getting them with temperatures in the single digits and teens. Over the last 5 or 6 years, this has been happening repeatedly. Monday morning, with the snowpack established, below zero for many areas. Single digits as far south as northern Louisiana, northern Mississippi, western Tennessee. Memphis forecast for a low of 3 degrees. Tuesday morning, still extremely cold. Record-breaking temperatures across many areas. Below zero in the snow-covered regions, single digits elsewhere. Low teens across the deep south. Wednesday morning, things begin to moderate somewhat, but still bitterly cold. This extended cold is why the ice storm is so dangerous. Power outages in these temperatures become life-threatening situations. Before we wrap up, I need to tell you about what's coming next. As we get toward the end of next work week, next weekend, we're watching another time frame, and this one has winter storm potential written all over it for the deep, deep south. Multiple models are showing a significant storm system developing Friday the 30th into the weekend. The GFS delays it until Sunday, February 1st, showing a winter storm deep in Texas crawling across the southeast. The Euro ensemble is lighting up Georgia and especially the Carolinas with a 1 to 3 inch snowfall mean. That means a lot of ensemble members are showing a hit. Columbia, Charlotte, Raleigh, you're showing up on the ensemble mean. For me personally, living in central South Carolina, I'm watching this closely. We all want something besides freezing rain. Drop a comment right now telling me where you're from. I'll be monitoring this storm all night and updating throughout tomorrow. This is going to look completely different when we wake up tomorrow morning. Stay safe tonight. Keep your phones charged. Have flashlights ready. If you have a fireplace or alternative heat source, make sure it's ready to go. Check on your neighbors, especially elderly neighbors. The next video tomorrow morning is going to have completely updated information as this unfolds. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. This is not over. For most areas, it hasn't even really begun. The next 24 hours are critical. God bless, stay safe, and I'll see you in the morning with the latest.